policies packaged together were all designed, again, to make Ukraine a Western bulwark on Russia's borders. The Russians made it unequivocally clear from 2008 forward that this was unacceptable and that it was not going to happen. And they made it clear that they would destroy Ukraine as a functioning society before they would let it happen. That's the first layer of the existential threat. The second layer of the existential threat comes into play after the war starts. Once the war starts, the United States has to stipulate.
So, according to John Mearsheimer, it's obvious that Russia's going to win. They're going to take, whatever parts of Ukraine they want, those parts that are heavily, and those people who are pro-Ukrainian will leave those areas, and those Russians in Ukraine will move to Russian-controlled territory. John Mearsheimer says that America's arming of Ukraine is, a far, far, more colossal blunder even than invading Iraq in 2000.
Stipulate what its goals are vis-a-vis Russia. And we have made it clear that our goal is to defeat the Russian military in Ukraine, to wreck its economy, and to, in effect, knock it out of the ranks of the great powers. There's also all sorts of rhetoric coming from the West and people in the administration, right, that make the argument that we should go beyond that and that we should pursue regime change. Then we should put Putin on trial. And there's...
Yeah, guys, if you go against Dennis Prager, you're essentially going against God. I mean, you don't want to go against God, do you? I mean, that'd be crazy. Want to go up against the master of the universe? Crazy.
Okay, I argued starting in 2001 in print that we would be in the mess that we're in now today. But whenever I talked about it, including in China, I would always say to people, this is based on my theory of how the world works. My theory is far from perfect. And I estimate that my theory is right 75% of the time and wrong 25% of the time. Because
okay, so much more nuance that you get from a real, a serious intellectual than you get from someone like Dennis Prager.
I love going to China and I love dealing with the Chinese. I used to say, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong that China can rise peacefully. But my theory says that's not true. But again, theories are not perfect. So with regard to the discussion, I may be wrong, okay? And it may be the case in 2 years, you'll invite me back, I'll have egg all over my face, and we'll discuss why I was wrong. But all I will say is I actually can't see why I'm going to be wrong. There are cases, I deal with from time to time where, I'm not too sure that I'm going to be proved right. In fact, China's one of them. I was not 100% certain. But on this one, we committed a colossal blunder. And I just find it hard to figure out how to get out of this mess. It just looks like it goes on and on for as far as the eye can see.
You were saying earlier that you thought it was a worse mistake than us invading Iraq.
Oh yeah, much worse mistake than invading Iraq. I mean, I have a whole section. I wrote the speech out, and I have a whole section on the consequences, right? And when you start thinking about the consequences just for European Russian moving forward, talk about Nord Stream and what are the consequences of that. The Russians are going to be interfering in European politics. They're going to be looking for cleavages in European politics and trying to exploit them. The Russians are going to be looking for cleavages in the transatlantic relationship and trying to exploit those cleavages. We are going to be going to great lengths to undermine Russia economically and politically. They're going to be trying to wreck Ukraine. We're going to be trying to save Ukraine. Where does this end? As I said before, I think we'll all be dead, and it'll still be going on.
The Chinese are not going to be the solution to peace.
No. Okay. Can I just say a word about that?
That was a question.
I was on Indian TV not too long ago, and the Indian was saying to me, is there a role here for India? And, he thought India could do something because India is quite friendly with the Russians and with the Americans, And now you hear the Chinese being trumpeted as a possible Deus ex machina, right? But the problem is there's no deal, right? Whether it's the Chinese, the Indians, or somebody comes in from outer space, or they put John Henry on it. What's the deal you're going to work out? How are you going to solve the territorial problem? How are you going to solve the issue of neutrality? Unless you're a magician, I just don't think it's doable. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but.
John, this was terrific. We're way over our time, but
yeah, John J. Mearsheimer speaking there just a few days ago, 5 days ago, about what's going on in Ukraine. He expects that it'll be a mess for years and years and years. So, with regard to Prager's conspiracy mongering, you got Rolling Stone, November 23, 2021. Dennis Prager, conservative media's biggest COVID. And then point number 10 on the barometer, profiteering gurus desire respect and admiration above all else. They also tend to feel that more worldly and tangible recognition of their talents is appropriate. So gurus are surprisingly willing to undertake activities such as shelling health supplements that would otherwise be a little surprising in an intellectual of their. So Dennis,
always telling the truth to the best of my human ability.
He's all about telling the best of his human ability. Right? He's not vulgar.
Oh, I have the same commitment to honesty.
Yes.
I was tangent number 13.
Yes. Oh, this is a total tangent.
I was actually mentioning during my radio show that I'm so committed to always telling the truth to the best of my human ability.
Wow.
When I receive scripts from sponsors, which I have all of my life basically, if there's something in there that isn't true, and there almost always is, I'll give one example, I omit it. So, for example, almost every script that I have to read says, so you contact my friends at Billy and Jerry Plumbing, but if they're not my friends, I don't say it.
I have learned from you hugely in that regard. With I mean, in so many other ways, but with regard to advertising and omitting things that are not
I
necessarily
always get a
true.
kick out of that. Tangent again. So not only do I not say it because it's not honest, I'm not sure it's effective.
Right.
Because if I say contact my friends...
Yes, it's like nepotism.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was 8 seconds. The digital age is narrowing our attention span. Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating and kills pretty. Advanced nutrition company Healthy Cell created focus and recall to boost your... Unlike other supplements that don't work, focus and recall is not. It's a patent-pending gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately...
Wow. Ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients. Wow.
Sharpen focus.
Wow.
Concentrate longer and strengthen recall.
Wow.
These physician-formulated gels come in a small gel pack.
Wow. These gels are physician formulated. Just blowing my... Amazing.
Tear off the top, shoot it down, or mix.
Do you want to reach your potential? Do you want to be rich beyond your wildest? Right? Do you want focus and recall? You want the vegan? Right? Do you want a immune? How about getting more REM sleep? Guys, Healthy Cell. This is how you too can reach